morning. Welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. This morning we're going to talk about starting seeds. Now, as you see out the window behind me, it is a dark and gloomy February day. And you're likely not to be thinking much about the garden in February. But now is the time for you to start your planning. Actually, if you're gardening on a regular basis, you plan 12 months out of the year. A little later in another video, I will show you my February garden, which looks dead, but I know it isn't. And so it gives me hope for the spring. February 18th, I think it is, and we are just around the corner from spring. So we need to start thinking about starting seeds. Today, I'm going to show you how I start tomatoes and peppers. Many things need to be started inside. Many things are better off planted directly into the garden. But for those things that we want to start outside, now's the time. I'll show you the system that I use, and I will remind you that every tomato gardener and every pepper gardener has their own system. The system that they swear by, that works for them. So if you have a system that you already like, please go ahead and use it if it's working for you. If you're looking to start and you want a few tips on how to start, this video is for you. We will go through the steps right now of how to start the seeds, how to make sure that you get germination, when to plan on planting outside, and I'll show you the setup in my dark and dirty basement. Yes, I'm going to share that with you, on how I make sure that my seeds germinate and that I at least start out with the healthiest plants possible. And I forgot to say, welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. Debbie's Back Porch is a Facebook community of people dedicated to promoting the slow, healthy food movement. We grow our own vegetables. We learn to safely preserve our organically grown food, and we learn to cook from scratch. This is one step. It's where we start, from seeds to table. I'm in my kitchen today just so that I can show this to you. I do have a seed starting area in my basement, but on this February day, the lighting is just terrible. So we're going to try to show this to you anyway. I apologize for the lighting. Okay, what I have here is the system that I like to use. Many different companies make it. This particular seed starting tray is made by Viagrow. You can find them in many places. What I like about it is this is a piece of styrofoam. And no, I don't particularly like styrofoam as a product, but this one is already about 4 years old. I can see using it for 10 years, so I don't feel like I'm wasting and I don't feel like I'm filling up a landfill. This is a regular size garden tray. This particular insert holds 55. I'm going to do 50 today. I'll leave these empty. I use these grow plugs. This is a soilless grow plug. This particular one is made by a company called Flora. Root Riot also makes them, and Viagrow makes them. You may find others. This is a little different than the Jiffy grow plug, or making your own out of different kinds of soil and materials. These are very spongy. They're soft. They're damp. They suspend in the styrofoam container. Now, there is an advantage to using a soilless medium for starting your seeds. Soil carries pathogens. According to where you get it, if you choose to use soil, you need to be using a sterilized soil. And I would suggest an organic soil. These are organic hydroponic plugs. They cost about $15 for 100. So figure that if cost is an issue for you. I got 100, and that'll start most of my tomatoes this year for my first round. I'll do another round of tomato plants of about another 100 in about a couple weeks. So we'll start in these. This one holds 55, this one holds 50. So what we're going to do today, tomatoes and peppers, and I've got a variety here. I'll also start some Rutgers. I'm going to try some Amish paste, which I've never grown, but everyone tells me they're wonderful. Amish paste is an heirloom tomato. These are celebrities. They're hybrid. We like them. They're great for canning. They make a very tasty tomato. They have some disease resistance. And these are Brandywines. They're also an heirloom. I saved some seed from last year, but for you I want to show you how to read a packet and how to determine when to plant. So I have these, and on the back, these are from Seed Savers Exchange. This is a company that's taken the Safe Seed Pledge. They're safe seeds for you to use. That doesn't necessarily mean that you might accidentally buy some GMO seeds for your garden. That's not likely. Home garden seeds are not GMO seeds, at least for now. These are from companies that have made the Safe Seed Pledge, meaning they don't do business with companies that deal with Monsanto and other companies that have GMO seeds as part of their business. So what we have here are just regular tomato seeds you can buy from these companies. You don't have to worry a bit. These two are heirloom. This is a hybrid. Hybrid doesn't have anything to do with GMO. Hybrid means that this is a seed that has been bred for certain traits. You must grow from seed for these. If you save the seed, you may not get anything, and you will most likely not get a celebrity, because if you save the seed and plant them, they'll revert to one or the other of the parent plants. So because we like celebrities, we buy these seeds to plant to make sure that we get celebrity. So we'll start here in putting these seeds in. Now I'm going to add some water. One of the things I love about this particular setup is that it's always bottom watering. And this is not sterilized water, but this is water that I drew out and let sit so that the chemicals can, I've lost a word. The chemicals will evaporate, will move out so that we get water with less chemicals. During the year, I generally save the water from our air conditioning, condensation, and use it to water plants. It's just about as pure as it's going to get. So we put water down in there, and I'm also going to wet the plugs. These are damp, but they're not wet. And we do want a lot of moisture for the seeds to start. And as I'm doing this, I'll explain to you why I'm starting tomato seeds today, in the middle of February. It takes between 6 and 8 weeks for you to get a viable tomato plant to plant outside. Much past 8 weeks, it's getting really kind of big and will have to be repotted. But what we have here, get my seeds, are tomatoes that are going to take 80 days from transplant. So whenever we put them out in the garden, after they've grown inside for 6 to 8 weeks, about 80 days from then we can expect to have tomatoes. If you'll see here, it tells you that they should be started 6 weeks before the last frost. So let's talk about what that means. I'm sure you've all got Google. If you will go onto Google and type in your zip code and last expected frost date, you'll get a little chart that comes up and will tell you when for you to expect in your area the last frost. You want to count back 6 weeks from that. And that's about the time you want to start your tomato plants. Okay, we're back. I have finished this tray of tomatoes. I finished it out with 4 rows of Cherokee Purple. I got from, I'm not sure I'm saying this right, Moseybo Farms. I won these in the Great American Seed Swap Project Facebook group for a tomato photo. So I'm using these Cherokee Purple heirloom tomatoes, organic, and I have great hopes for these. So I've put a dome over this, a cover. This will help keep moisture and to help build the heat to keep a warm environment when we put them in our grow box. You can't see this, but I've labeled them on the trays so that I don't forget what's in here, because I almost forgot before I even put the labels on. So let's move these out of the way and let's talk a little bit about peppers. People think of tomatoes and peppers as about the same thing, and they're very popular. A lot of people like to grow peppers. A lot of people love to eat peppers. I grow about 10 pepper plants a year, but I also give away quite a few. I start, or try to start, way more peppers than I actually need, because they don't as dependably start for me. So I normally get 95 to 100% germination on tomato seeds, and I may get 60 to 70% germination on pepper seeds. They're a little more tricky. It would be easy to go out and buy pepper plants, but you really get a better variety if you get seeds. You get to choose what you like. Your friends get to send you seeds. And so I go ahead and start them. I do occasionally buy a pepper seed. Peppers need a little bit more heat, and you don't want to plant them quite as early. But you're also not bound as much by the 6 to 8 weeks because from your last expected frost date, because peppers actually germinate more slowly and need a little bit more heat and time to get strong and viable. My friend Zach Ardania is the pepper king as far as I'm concerned. He has sent me some pepper seeds here I'm going to try. What I'm starting here is I'm going to start 5 of 5 different kinds. I will probably end up planting 2 of each one. If the rest of them grow and do well, I'll give them away. So what I've got here is banana peppers. We like banana peppers. In this house, we're all about sweet peppers and not so much hot, even though I do grow hot peppers for my friends. So I'm going to do banana peppers. Whoops, where did it go? Oh well. I'm going to do some Big Gem medium hots. I'm going to do some mild jalapenos. We actually love these. And I have here some boot holokai peppers, which I will never eat one, but I'm going to give growing it a shot. I'll also start some poblano peppers. Those are actually my favorite. And I'll put them down and hope that they grow. And if they don't, I will buy a couple of poblano plants because they will be eaten here at our house. So this is our banana peppers. First, these are the boots. I understand these are no longer considered the hottest pepper in the world. I think that would be the Carolina Reaper. I stay up on peppers because on Debbie's back porch there are some great pepper growers, and they give us all the scoop, even though I'm not a great pepper starter. I always have really good luck out in the garden with peppers. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me do all of this. We'll cut away again. But a couple of things about peppers to let you know. They're going to take more like 8 weeks, sometimes 10, to get a good start. You want to wait until the soil temperature outside is 70 degrees, and they'll germinate at a little higher temperature They like 85 to 90 degrees, but they will germinate at 80. If you've got a soil temperature here of 65, 70 degrees, they won't germinate at all. It's a waste of your time. So we'll come back when I get these peppers all ready and labeled. As promised, welcome to my dark and dirty basement. No, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. I am going to show you for right now my grow box. If you'll look, this is the underside of a table that Fred and I have wrapped with aluminum foil insulation. On the bottom, I have a large heat mat. Now this doesn't get hot like your heating pad you have at home. It keeps a temperature of about 85 degrees, 85 to 90, and keeps a regular, consistent temperature for the seedlings to start. These are the boxes you saw me start upstairs, plus one that I already had started. As you can see, I have room for another of the large trays in here, and that will be my Rutgers tomatoes and perhaps some black creme. This setup is one that I've put together over a period of years. The light that you see is a Hydrofarm 125 watt full daylight spectrum light. You don't have to do that. I have found it to be a good investment because we start 200 to 300 plants a year. It's now in its third year. I haven't had to replace the bulb yet. I figure sometime during this season I may have to replace the bulb. It's a little pricey. I bought it before I retired, and it has served me well. I have additional light on there because it doesn't fully cover the whole space. But if you can see the way we have this set up, there is a reflection, and there's also some help from the insulation in keeping the heat consistent and warm. Generally, I run the lights 16 hours a day, on in the morning, off at night, to try to simulate what will be happening outside, and because that's what they need. I keep the covers on as long as they are in this box. When the seedlings get 2 true leaves, which should take a couple weeks, I will start getting ready to repot them. They only stay in these hydroponic grow pods until they start to touch the top, and they need then to get out into something larger, and I will go over the repotting process for you in a couple weeks when I get ready to do it. I hope this has been helpful, starting tomatoes and peppers. I hope you've gotten some information to help you decide how you're going to do yours. I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch.